Hello YouTube, I'm your Huckleberry, and this is the ZT0350. Been a really popular knife for a long time. They've sold a lot of these, let me tell you. All right, let's get into some measurements. We have a 7.6 inch overall length with a 3.25 inch blade length. We're looking at a 0.13 inch blade thickness. It is an S30V blade with a drop point and a hollow grind, and it comes in this one comes in the black DLC finish. We have G10 scales over stainless steel liners, and it is a liner lock. And we do have a 4-way positional clip, so it can be left hand tip up, tip down, or right hand tip up, tip down. And let's weigh this guy. He is chunky. He is chunky, but that's okay because so am I. And chunky guys are okay. We are looking at 6.3 ounces. And so that is about double. Something that you can look for in knives, something that I look for is blade length to ounce weight ratio. And this one about dang near doubles it. And so, like I said, he's a chunky guy, but so am I, and so that's all right. Let's do some size comparisons. Here we have it against a Kershaw Leak. And in terms of overall length, very comparable, very comparable. And it's kind of funny because these two knives are very, very different in terms of the way that they're marketed, and the weight, of course, is very different. And yet, in terms of overall length, not so dissimilar, but very different in about every other way. Here it is against a Ontario Rat Model 2. Again, not so dissimilar in overall length, but nowhere near similar in terms of weight. And just the way it fills the hand, of course, because of course there's a lot more, it's a lot thicker here than here. Here it is against a large Sabenza with a Tanto blade. And the Sabenza, of course, is going to have a little bit more blade. But again, they're going to feel very different in hand. Very different in hand. And then here it is against the gold standard Spyderco PM2. Now, these two are going to be much more comparable in terms of feel even. This one is still going to be larger, of course, in terms of weight and just the way it fills the hand, but we're getting a lot closer with the PM2. And then, why not? Just for fun, here it is against the Kershaw Cinder. Now, I'm sorry, I cracked myself up. We've got about two opposite ends of the spectrum here. This is as far to the one end as you can get, and this is all the way over on this end that way in terms of weight and size and everything. All right, and so let's get into some pros and cons. A pro is this has good ergos. It feels good in hand. No real hot spots. Everything is nicely rounded. There's no sharp edges. The clip just kind of really fits into the hand nicely, does not cause a hot spot. Here it is. I wear size extra large gloves. I know I say that in every video, but you never know when you got new viewers. So I wear size extra large gloves, and this is a full 4-finger grip. As you can see here, fills the hand very nicely, as it should, because it is big. And so it's got good ergos, at least for my extra large hands. If you have smaller hands, I could see where maybe it's too much, definitely. But, you know, overall for me, it feels good in hand. It's nicely finished. It is made in the good old US of A, so I enjoy that. I always like that. I always like to support made in the USA products, and this definitely is. The blade stock is actually not as thick as you would think. At 0.13 inches. That's not as thick as you would think, and it's actually, I mean, with this hollow grind, it's not a bad slicer. I mean, it's not God's gift to slicing, but it's, you know, it's not terrible. I mean, the TS81 here, the Tucson TS81, I mean, you can see them. We can kind of do another little size comparison there. But this has a 0.15 inch blade stock, and this is 0.13. And so, you know, it's not as thick or as bad as a slicer as you might think it is. Especially, you know, it's a Ken Onion design, and you got a lot of nice belly here. This is not a bad cutter in the least. It cuts pretty darn well. And so that's good. You're getting a good, solid, proven steel in S30V. That's always nice. Ain't nothing wrong with some good old S30V. It is robust. You know, this is back when ZT was really marketing the overbuilt tank knives. And this and the its big brother. That's right. This comes with the big brother. This with its big brother, the 0300, were kind of the poster children for that. And the 0200 as well. Those three knives were kind of the poster children for this era of ZT when they were making the big overbuilt tank knives. And that is certainly what this is. It is robust. It feels like an overbuilt tank. And so, you know, if you like that kind of thing, this is for you. This is the poster child for that. This is for you. It has a really good jimping. Good jimping right there. Not too sharp that's going to cut you, but it gives you a really good purchase. You know, the thumb can get in there, and you can, again, that's kind of part of it being overbuilt, I suppose. It's part of what they were advertising, and that is really good jimping there. It has a 4-way positional clip. I always enjoy seeing that. I mean, I am right-handed, and I prefer my knives tip up. And so many knives are for me because usually if it's only if the clip has one position, it's right hand tip up. But that is something that I always kind of lament because it's just always nice to have the option. It's like I said before, you know, there's a lot of guys who carry their knives in the left pocket anyway, even though they're right-handed. That's just the way that they like to carry it. So it's always nice to have the option. And this gives you all 4 options. There are no more options than this. There are only 4 options that you can have, and it has all 4. And so that's nice. That's something I like. That's something I want to commend them for, commend Zero Tolerance for. We kind of already got into this, but this has a really nice blade shape. This is a Ken Onion design, and he makes nice... I like his blade designs. They got really nice belly, which helps them cutting, even though this is, you know, a overbuilt tank knife. It still cuts pretty well, which is what knives should do. You know, they didn't leave the stock so thick that it's a pry bar, Bedford. But it cuts pretty well. It cuts pretty well. Another good thing is the price. You're looking at about brand new. These guys run about $156, right in there. That's right in. You know, it's not a super value deal, but for a made in the USA S30V knife, not bad. That's not a bad price, I don't think. You're getting good quality. It's got good fit and finish. Like I said, no hot spots. Everything is nicely rounded where it should be. Feels good in hand. So $156, I have no problem with. Is it the best deal you ever find? No. Is it a a pretty decent price. Yeah, it is. Okay, and then some of the cons is, holy cow, it's heavy. I mean, 6.2 ounces, 6.2, 6.3 ounces. Holy cow. It is a chunk. It is heavy. This is right on the edge of being too heavy for me. Heavy. It's definitely heavier than what I usually carry, and it's right there at almost too heavy for me. When we are doubling up the blade length to ounce weight ratio, that's a heavy knife. and part of the thing is the full, I mean, that's a pretty good chunk of stainless steel there. And they did, I don't know if you'll be able to see, yeah, you can kind of see there. They did do just a slight bit of milling out. This could have stood some more because these liners are thick. And it could have used some more milling, but again, this is the era of ZT that they were, this is what they were going for. Overbuilt tank knives, and I guess weight was definitely a part of that. They wanted it to feel substantial, and man, does it ever. This is a substantial knife. It is assisted. That's, it's Kershaw's Speed Safe. It's the assisted opening. That's not something I'm ever in love with. I don't really care. I mean, I really like this knife. I really like this knife too. The Leak. But man, I don't really care for Speed Safe. I don't care for assisted opening knives, which is what this one is. Now, the good news with this one is that a lot of these have enough detent that you can de-assist them. And I had this one de-assisted for a little bit, but then I went back, for the review, and this one, I mean, it had just barely enough detent to de-assist it, and I was just more comfortable with it assisted. But a lot of these, it's I've heard reports, and I've talked about this with other guys. It's kind of a crapshoot as to how much detent an individual 0350 will have. But sometimes you'll get one with a pretty decent detent and you can de-assist it and it'll be just fine. There's a lot of guys who run these de-assisted because they like the knife, they hate the assisted opening, and so they de-assist them and they run them that way, and it has, enough detent that it's okay. And like I said, this one, I de-assisted it and it had just enough detent to run it de-assisted, but ultimately I was more comfortable with it being assisted. And so, but that's something that everybody has to decide for themselves whether they like the assisted or the de-assisted. I personally don't care for it. Not enough that it makes me, not like the knife, but I just don't like that aspect of it. And so overall, kind of final conclusion here. If you want an overbuilt tank knife, this guy is for you. At over 6 ounces, he's for you. It'll get the job done. You get a decent product for the price. At $156, made in the USA, good ergonomics, good fit and finish. You can find these guys on the secondary for quite a bit cheaper than the $156 price tag. But overall, it's a good knife. But it's kind of specific. You gotta like this style. The overbuilt tank style knife. You gotta like that in order for this to work for you. Something else I wanted to add in here, you'll see that this has a very nice edge on it. This guy was in need of a new edge, and I don't sharpen myself because I don't want to take the time to learn. I don't really have the time, and I don't want to take the time to learn how to do it right. And so what I prefer to do is to ship it off to someone who is an expert in such things and have them do it for me. And I have found such an expert. MS Custom Knives, Mr. Micah Sontag. He put this edge on here for me, and oh, it is nice. It is a nice edge. This guy cuts very, very, very well now. And he did it very quickly. I got it. I shipped it off to him priority. It got there in the, 2, 3, 4 days, whatever it takes to get there, shipping priority. And I mean, he had it in the mail. He received it, sharpened it, and had it in the mail the next day. Wow, that's good service right there. It was good service. It was a good edge. It was really good pricing. At the prices that he charged, and he'll quote you. You tell him what you have, and he'll quote you on what it is. But for what he charged, yeah, I'll just ship it off to him and let him do it instead of taking the time to learn myself. I know that may make me sound lazy, but I just don't really have the time, and I know that this is not easy to do. And he did it well, very, very well, and timely, and at a really good price. And so if you need any sharpening done, I would suggest contacting him. Let me bring his card up closer here so you can see all the info, and I'll have it in the about section there as well. I'll have all this information. You can get a hold of him. There's his email, his Instagram, his Facebook. I found him on Facebook. He was very, very responsive, and he will take care of you there. So I highly, highly recommend Micah for your sharpening needs if you have such needs. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed this review, give me a thumbs up. If you hated this review, you can go ahead and give me a thumbs down. That's all right, too. And let me know in the comments below what you liked, what you hated, what I can do better. I am always open to constructive criticism. And whatever you do, please subscribe. And if you want to know when I post new videos, go ahead and hit that little notification bell as well, because I have a bunch of content coming up, and I am sure that I will have something that floats your boat. And so thank you for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Thank you, guys. Goodbye.